Good afternoon, everybody. It's Bob the Green Man from Chateau de Muff in Mesa, Arizona, Zone 10A. And this banana right here was growing right up along the house ever since it came out of the ground last late summer. It is starting now to lean a bit, and what that tells me is that it is getting ready to flower. And if we can take a look, so you see this leaf right here, and then this leaf right down here, those were the two leaves before it. Now that leaf, oops, sorry, that leaf right in the middle, right here, that leaf is about half the size. So the next leaf that's gonna come out of there, I don't know if we can get a good shot. The sun's in my eyes. The next leaf that comes out of there is going to be the flag leaf, and after the flag leaf is the flower. And we'll have bananas by November, maybe December. But anyway, we're not talking about that today. Today we're going to talk about how I water and what I did to set up an irrigation system. Now, what I was doing was coming out here once a week on my day off and watering all the trees. So I take the hose and put it down, water for a couple minutes, water for a couple minutes. There used to be a tree here, and water a couple minutes, water a couple minutes, water a couple minutes, water. 4 hours it would take me to water this whole property. 4 hours. There's a lot of trees. A lot of trees. And there's trees way back over there. So what I thought was, what can I do to A, help these trees thrive a little bit better, and B, how can I do that and save money? So when you're watering with a hose, it is time consuming and it's a little bit more expensive. You're gonna come out and really, pay attention to how much is going into or how many gallons you're actually pumping out. Okay. So I came up with a watering system, and here's my watering system here. These are our valves. These are just orbit valves that I bought online. I bought a set of three, and then a set of two, and then I created one over here. And I did that so that if one of these goes bad, you just unscrew this part, and this part comes out, and then you just go buy one of these. So it's like $16, $17. These are 1-inch valves that go into 3/4 inch PVC. And I did everything above ground so that if there's a leak, I can see. I don't have to wait until all the soil soaks up the water and then it starts getting soft, and then I have to dig. I can do everything above ground. So we've got 6 zones. We've got a zone here that goes up front, 3 zones that run back to the pool area, a zone here in the tropical zone. And then I've got a zone that tees off right here. This is the 6th zone, actually. The 6th zone comes out here and then runs along the house here. Comes here, hits this little zone right here, and then goes to the bananas here and the bananas in the by the patio area. So the trees that I set up on the irrigation zone all have, for the most part, shallow fibrous root systems, i.e. in Arizona, they need more water. They need to basically stay moist, okay? All the trees in here, except for this black sapote, and I'll tell you what, this black sapote is enjoying the extra water that it's getting. I mean, this was full sun this year. Some of the stuff was shaded. This sandhole was shaded this year, but all this new growth is looking great with the shade gone. Soursop is looking good. Got some new growth there. Really nice. The one tree that kind of shocked me was this abiyu. This is the original leaves. A little bit of burn on there. But it has been, I took the shade off about a month ago. It's doing really well. And here's a bee. This is cool. There's a bee floating around here looking for nectar. He just pollinated that flower on the Jamaican cherry. This thing loves full sun, and in fact, this was just a little itty bitty plant when I planted it. So the watering system that we have running, for example, like this tree here, this is an amla, an Indian gooseberry. Now this has a very deep, extensive root system, and this does not get watered on the irrigation system. The irrigation system runs right by it. This gets watered once a week. It's a deep watering, and it is doing just fine. Gets basically full sun. So the sun is over here. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. During the summer, the sun is like right here, blasting down on this thing. It loves it. Loves the heat. Loves the sun. And it's loving its little area next to this Arizona sweet orange. So let's head out to the pool area where we have a majority of the trees, and got a couple dogs here. Minnie and Ghost getting some sun, catching a nap. The water system, since I put it in, everything back here has absolutely gone crazy. Everything that gets watered on the water system. Okay, so this star fruit, for example, is actually fruiting this year, flowering. Look at that. This tree is 2 years old, 2.5 now. So I put it in the ground in April of 2021. And by May, it was looking great. Or I'm sorry, June. It was looking great. July, I didn't water it once. One day, I didn't water it. And the next day, I saw this. And I was like, okay, should I dig it up? Well, I looked and I found a little piece of life at the bottom of the tree. And I watered it every day, came out, took care of it, give it fish emulsion, fertilized it. As you can see, there's chicken manure, composted chicken manure. Fertilized it, and by December, it was looking well. We did not cover it. I did not do anything with it in the winter. I think the lowest we got that year was maybe 32 degrees. Anyway, the next summer, it took off, and it did not flower, did not fruit. It just existed, and I kept taking care of it, Then what I noticed is I was watering this tree by hand 3 times a week. Okay, and it was doing well. I mean, it had really nice leaves on it. But every so often, I would see stuff like this. And that's just leaves that, this tree cycles its leaves a lot. What was happening was the tree was not getting consistent water, and what it was doing was these leaves were not cycling like this, but they were crisping up. Okay, so I started doing it, like I said, 3 times a week, and it was looking great. And then what I did was I watered it the couple days or weeks before I put the system in. I did not water it on Friday. I would do Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. I did not water it on Friday. Well, I came out and I saw some of the leaves were a little crispy. Okay, that tells me that the consistent water that I was giving it, it was looking for that water. So we come out, we put the irrigation system in. This area could not be better. This mame over here is, I don't know what it's doing. It's living, for lack of a better term. But everything else, this loquat, doing great. I actually have to trim this winter. We'll see what flowers and fruits and what doesn't. But I've kind of let it be a bush. This gigantic nectarine has really shaded this loquat in the summer, and I've got a really big fig tree over here as well. These trees, and in fact, this banana, this is a dwarf Cavendish, it struggled with me hand watering, and only after I started with an irrigation system did it take off, and it's doing well. And I think there's like 4 or 5 pups under here now, and in fact I'm probably gonna only keep 1 or 2 pups. In fact, there's another pup right there, it looks like. I don't know what that is. That looks like another pup. But I'm only going to keep, I think, 1 or 2 pups, maybe 3 per cluster. That cluster over here has kind of gotten out of hand. So the irrigation system goes off, it waters every day, 6 days a week, 5 minutes, which these bubblers are 2.5 gallon bubblers. Water for 5 minutes. And then 1 day a week, on my usual water day, so we got a little minor chlorosis here. 1 day a week, we water for 10 minutes. That's 25 gallons. Like I said, everything is really looking good. There's a peanut butter that is blooming. Again, we just ate about 6 fruit off of this tree. We have a shade up for it. Peanut butter without the shade, this is what happens when we're hot. This is a tree that I could not get to. This is a star apple, and this is probably 8 feet tall, and it just wasn't getting the water that it needed, and it died all the way back to this. So we're taking care of it. We're gonna see if it'll come back over the winter. Longin. This is basically full sun. I mean, in the summer, it gets shade from this gigantic palm tree. But yeah, this has grown really, really well. This is a Kohala Longin. 2 more examples of trees and shrubs that were not getting the water that they needed. That's a star cherry, and this thing lost almost all of its leaves, and it's really come back now that we've got the water system going. And this Amberella or June plum, got some fruit on there still. I was struggling pretty mightily with this tree this summer. Lots of times I'd come out and I'd see stuff like this, leaves that were all crusty and couldn't figure it out. I put the water system in. This gets irrigated consistently. And I mean, look at the new growth on this thing. Looking happy. Another thing that needs irrigation is this papaya. And once I started watering this thing consistently, it has really taken off, and in fact we've got flowers now, so we'll be looking forward to some papayas this winter. And everything that does not get or is not on this irrigation system, for example, the citrus are all on their own irrigation system. This Shangri-La mulberry, this is the first year in the ground. Throw a hose down and I water. How I go about watering that area is I will give a tree like that is probably going to get 20 gallons of water each time I water it with the hose. And I know it's 20 gallons because I've filled up a 5-gallon bucket at a certain pressure, and I've timed it, and then I just multiply that by 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever, however many gallons I need to give the tree, and I run it that way. And that's what I was doing with all of these trees before I set up irrigation system. We're going to head back to one more area, and talk about a couple more tropical trees and another tree that gets watered every day but doesn't really need it because of its root system. That tree is this guy right back here. This is, oh, that shade's beautiful. This is a ice cream bean, and this is on an irrigation system. It gets watered the same way all the rest of the tropical shallow fibrous root system trees get watered. But this is not a shallow fibrous root system. This actually has a tap root. But this comes from the rainforest where they get rain a lot. They get like 10 feet of rain a year, maybe more. And at my lowly little house here in Mesa, we get about 9 to 10 inches of rain a year. So I decided to put the irrigation system on this, and it has absolutely loved it. So why did I put irrigation over here? Well, 2 reasons. Here's the first reason. This is my almost 5-year-old Barbados cherry. Now this tree has fruited every year for me. I planted it in April of 2021. And it is fruited every year, and this is just beautiful shade. And it's flowered every year. But I get fruit once a year in April or May. Get a lot of fruit. Lots and lots and lots of fruit. And then I get flowers the whole rest of the summer. But no fruit. And I could not figure out why. Till I was looking one day on a website, and I noticed that Barbados cherry have shallow, fibrous roots. The only difference is they can take a little bit more drought. So they can, I was watering this tree once a week, and that's why I wasn't getting fruit. So we put this in about 3 weeks ago, and lo and behold, my flowers turned into fruit. It's amazing. The second reason why I put an irrigation system in was this right here. This is a Marcus pumpkin avocado. Now I got this from Florida. So exotic, in fact. Look at that new growth. I got this from So Exotic, and this tree is it's an avocado. So Arizona avocados were under 55% shade fabric. They need shade. And I only still have this on because this was just planted. And we got lots of bark exposed. If it were super hot right now, or if it was August or July, this area would be fried. In fact, some of these new leaves are getting fried. But this tree needs to be babied, and that was the other reason to put the irrigation system in. to keep this moist. Now, avocados in Arizona need to stay moist, so I will come out here with the hose every night. In fact, we can do it right now. Give you a little demonstration. Just throw this hose down. Turn our water on a bit. We just keep that root ball nice and moist. Now, in time, this tree will grow enough roots that I won't have to do this. I probably will not have to do this next year. Well, actually, I take that back. I will probably not have to do this in 2027, which will be its second summer. Next year is going to be the most important summer. I'm actually going to overwater it. Not in the sense that I'm going to kill it, but in the sense that I'm going to give it extra water so that it will explode in growth. These tropical fruit trees, if you give them water in the summer, I tell people that, come over and stay at the house and take care of the trees while we're gone. You cannot overwater anything in the summer. But you can underwater very quickly, and I've found that out throughout my years of gardening. But these tropical fruit trees, especially the ones that have shallow fibrous roots, need consistent water. And if you give them too much water, oh well. That is beneficial for them. They may survive with a little bit of water, but they will thrive with extra water. Anyway, that is how I water. Quick side note. Hi, Ghost Boy. Hi, buddy. Quick side note. In the winter, I do not water at all. At all. I shut the water off. Nothing gets watered. The deciduous stuff doesn't need water. It is asleep. It can live off the rainwater, just as well with all the tropical. They can live off the rainwater we get now. Last winter, we didn't get any rain. We got no rain. It was one of those El Nino years. No rain, or La Nina, I can't remember. No rain, and it was just a touch colder. I think we hit 30 degrees for a little bit last year. In that sense, I water once a month. Or, if I come out and see the trees struggling, I'll give them some water. So basically what I'm trying to say is figure out how to water in your yard. Just because I do something doesn't mean everybody has to do something. I'm just giving an example of what I do to make these trees thrive. And I can tell you that all these leaves on these bananas were struggling. They were yellow. These trunks and the leaves were yellow. These leaves came out almost white because of heat. Put this water system in. I threw a shade up when we were real hot, and no issue. Everything is looking absolutely glamorous. We got a little pup right there on this new guy. Do some homework. What may work for somebody may not work for you, and what doesn't work for somebody may work for you. So just because somebody says, oh, well, you shouldn't be watering every day, they don't know the soil you have. If I had compacted clay soil, like a lot of other people do in Arizona, I could probably get away with watering, every couple of days. But I have about 14 inches of clay soil, and then it's a loamy clay soil. In fact, when we put that avocado in the ground. Anyway, guys, I hope you learned something. Maybe you will try some of the things that I do. Do you have ideas of how I can do things better? Let me know. Thank you for watching, and until next time, have a wonderful day.